Aaron Rodgers is at the Steelers facility today. An indication a deal with the team could be forthcoming per sources. Thankfully, Donnie Football is in for this hour. This is perfect. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Can't even let us enjoy the Robert Morris game.
I know. Let the drama begin. Donnie, Aaron Rodgers. This is going to be, should it come to pass, and it appears to be headed in that direction, this is going to be one wild ride. Do you like the idea of Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh?
I think we've been over this. The sports talk radio host in us wants this to happen 110%, whereas maybe the fan in us does not want this to happen. Like the fan in me, I'd rather them just run it ahead with Mason Rudolph, maybe, just maybe, have a bad season for once and set yourself up for 2026. But we know that if the Aaron Rodgers thing does in fact happen, that it will be headline after headline after headline that gives us fodder to talk about, not even just for the season, all of the offseason, probably after the season.
For years to come, depending on what happens. So he came out of the darkness. I don't know if he was in the darkness, actually. But he's here, according to Dulac. So many questions arise. I mean, does this make it imperative that you keep Pickens? That would be one.
It's 4 nights of complete darkness.
Another would be, what kind of money are we talking about and what kind of term? I mean, I get the impression, if I had to guess right now, that it's going to be one guaranteed year for between 30 and 40 million. Does that sound reasonable? Or do you think he's going to work himself into more guaranteed money?
Did you guys ask Ray about this earlier when you had him on? Like what a possible deal could look like?
No, just generally we asked him what's happening.
So the guys questioned him on it yesterday, you know, his best guess on what he thinks the Steelers offer would be. And he said it was more like 1 year for 25 or 30.
Oh, okay.
Which is obviously more attractive. You know, if you're able to get this guy at like 25 million guaranteed instead of 40, then that changes the calculus on everything a little bit.
What about Pickens? Would you prefer? I mean, obviously, the idea here is going to be to protect Rodgers because he needs that at this stage of his career, and have him stand back there and be able to use that arm, which is still lively, and get the ball down the field to the guy that they're giving tens of millions of dollars to, plus Pickens, right?
Yeah, I think it only makes sense that if you bring in Aaron Rodgers, you know it's only going to be a 1 year shot. You know, the man is 41 years old. You are trying to pull what Brett Favre did in Minnesota 15 years ago. So you have to have that on your mind. And it only makes sense for me, unless Pickens truly forces his way out of here, which he could, you got to keep that dude on the roster. Like, you have to be all in.
Right.
If you go with something like this, because bringing in a 41-year-old quarterback is not a, we're still building ourselves for the future here. Like, no, you're telling us that you think you can actually do this right now, so all the chips have to be at the center of the table.
And I guess the other thing that comes to mind, Donnie, is just because you visit a facility doesn't mean you leave with a contract. We just saw Russell Wilson, for example, visit the Giants and the Browns and left both places without a deal. For all we know, has he visited the Giants yet? Do we know that, Aaron?
Well, I mean, I imagine he has easy access to it if he wants, because he did play for the Jets.
Yeah. So is he going to do both? Or I just wonder, or does he leave that facility today with an agreement?
I would actually be surprised if by the end of today we had an official deal between
You would?
the Steelers. Yeah, I would. I think this is just part of his long game here. He's holding all the cards. You know, and I said the other day, as annoying as it may be, Aaron Rodgers has the right to take his time on all of this. It is the Steelers are the ones that are keeping themselves in it. So if you want anybody to blame here as to why, like, man, why is this what you guys talk about? Why is this what's important?
Yeah.
You blame the Pittsburgh Steelers. You don't blame us, and you don't blame Aaron Rodgers.
I have been saying that.
Yeah.
I totally agree that they have looked horrible in this. But then, if they get Aaron Rodgers and he's really good, they're going to turn out to be right. I don't think they will be. I think this is desperate. I think he wasn't their first choice. I don't think he's very good anymore.